It's the Tim and Rebecca Show. And we are now live.
Little intro music.
On both the Facebook and on, well, that's weird.
That is weird. And my head's being cut off over there.
Oh, well.
Can't see my big, expansive forehead. Hope you're all doing well. The weather here in Honolulu is rainy. Poor Hawaii.
Poor Hawaii.
There's the clouds everywhere. My head's still cut off.
Okay, well, I'm not sure what else to do. So
Okay.
you're just going to have to live with it until we figure all this out. So here's the thing is we're both, I think, fairly technologically savvy for the most part. We should save the Harpo-Can for the end.
All right. Anyway, go ahead.
And but we're trying to figure out a way to stream on Facebook and on YouTube. And the part of the problem we've discovered is that everybody wants money. So there's ways of doing it that are pretty simple when everything's said and done. But it's $100 here and $100 there and another $100 here. And I'm like, I'm not making any money off of this thing. So I really can't afford to pay for it. So we're trying to figure out different ways that we could do it using multiple devices.
So what is our reasoning for wanting to be on two different things? Do we have a reason?
Well, because we were hoping to expand this kind of process to something other than just our Facebook friends.
And I don't know much about it, but I guess Facebook has the same thing where people can comment while it's happening live and all that. So I guess it's just the idea of
somebody said we were interesting.
Yeah.
So we thought we would go broader. May not be a good idea. I don't know, your head's still cut off. I don't know what to do about that.
Well, we're feeling this screen and that screen, we're only a little tiny bit of it. So we're going to work out these kinks.
We are. So please bear with us and hopefully we'll get better as we go along. Yeah.
Yeah. So here we are.
Here we are.
We made our big announcement last time. We're going
Moving.
to Utah. Maybe they're doing the background check. I get my fingerprints done the other day. There's this woman here in town. She's like a monopoly. She's this very, very meticulous woman who runs a company called Signing Hawaii. And she's mobile. I mean, she's got a little office. This is what Hawaii costs. If you want a desk with 3 USB ports and internet access and air conditioning, a desk, which is not a desk, it's a big table, she pays $500 a month.
Wow.
And I think for her price, which is the unlimited package, she can go in there 24-hour access to this table, where half the table she's allowed to leave her belongings, the other half she has to clear it every day. Anyway, so she does notaries, and if you are unable to go to her location, she'll come to you. And when you come, she sends you a PDF on how to park and where to park, and she's very detailed. And then when you go to get a lot of notaries, you go and you say, I want to get this, mortgage notarized. They're like, okay, give me your ID, and they sign it. And they say she wants to know everything about you. She wants, all the rules and laws that go with notary. She follows. Anyway, she also does fingerprinting. So I went over there and
he got fingerprinted.
Ever seen a fingerprint? There's very, very, very. It's amazing. The little whorls in your finger. I mean, and the little ink they use is just enough to get. You can see every little thing, and it's incredible. So I do it, and she has to hold my hand and turn my whole body and all this stuff. And then she goes, "Oh, that's not good enough. We'll have to do that again." So turn it all over again and do it. So we get 5 thumbprints on the first thumb. I'm like, I got 9 more digits left to go here. This is unbelievable.
He was gone for a while.
I was gone for an hour. And then she has this corn husker oil, and she's rubbing it. I'm like, wow, this is like a manicure here. She's rubbing it. And then still wasn't good. So she said when you get older, the whorls go away or they fade. And
Which is why he can't open his iPhone.
I can't do the iPhone at all. It's terrible.
He can't do the thing. It's
not me.
It is a little bit of user error, I would argue, just a tiny bit.
Anyway, so then she said, rub my thumb on my palm and make it hot. So every single digit, I had to do that. And then, of course, all the dirt comes out, and the little crumbles fall off, and then we do the whole thing. So I got
Right,
to learn
don't you
all
wash
about
your
her
hands?
business. Well, no, I didn't. I came in there dirty.
Mm.
That's my story.
That's his story.
So anyway,
Anyways.
once the state of Utah sees this video, I probably won't get the job anyway. Be right here in Hawaii.
You keep saying that. Are you trying to make it a truism?
No,
make it
no.
happen that way? Or are you just...
We had drinks with Pam and her husband last night.
Mm-hmm.
Sherwood.
Sherwood, yep.
He was a wealth of information.
Aloha, Roy. Good
Hi,
to
Roy.
see you.
I guess we told you in the last video that my mom had a little thing, an episode at Christmas time. Did we mention that?
No, I don't think we did.
Oh, my mom was dehydrated, I guess, is the short story long story short. And she passed out, basically. But that's not how it sort of unraveled. It unraveled, it looked like a stroke. And
It did. It was frightening.
ambulance came, the fire department came, and it was terribly frightening. And our friend Sherwood was telling us all about things to prepare for emergencies like that, so that you know what to tell the medical people and prepare for, when your elderly people in your life are getting there, or when you yourself are getting to that point, and how your loved ones are going to handle those kind of situations. So it's very informative.
It was very informative, and was really it was difficult. But the good thing is that everything turned out to be okay. Once we got electrolytes in her and water in her, she, it took a couple days for her to feel 100%, but it was really good. So so that was fantastic. We were going to talk a little bit about exes today.
She's changing the subject completely.
I know, well, because we said we were going to talk about exes, right? Remember?
This is our breakfast program. Yes, we are going to talk about exes.
So one thing that we both
This is an open discussion, by the way. Anyone can chime in.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now, Roy, he's been married a very long time to a very wonderful woman. So
To a lot of women?
No, one fantastic woman.
Hi, Roy.
And we were talking about how Tim and I have a different, abnormal relationship with our exes.
Well, we don't really know how everybody else's relationship, but you hear a lot of stories, and it's always a cliche in the movies that, the ex is someone you don't want to talk to, and they definitely don't show up to your wedding, and they don't show up to your funerals in your family.
And they're cut out of your life. They're just, we're done.
And if you talk to them, it's just awkward situation.
Or you're trying to rekindle something that people would argue back to.
Right.
But the truth is, I think, though, in my experience, is that you get together with certain people because you have a lot in common with them. You know what I mean? It's really crooked. Now we're crooked.
Yeah, but now we're visible.
But we're crooked. We're sliding off the phone.
Oh, we'll be right. We'll be right back. So yeah, there was a time before we were married, I believe. And one of my exes is kind of like my second best friend in the whole world, with her being first. I mean, we were very close, romantically, but she was my partner for quite a while. And there are things that I wanted to talk to her about, and I felt like I had to leave the room. I had to go down to the swimming pool to talk to her. And I didn't tell Rebecca that's what I was doing. And then later I told her that's what I was doing, and Rebecca got very upset.
I did.
We had a conversation about that.
And it wasn't because he was talking to her. It was because he was hiding that he was talking to her. Like I talk to my ex all the time. I never
didn't want to
hide
make
it.
her upset that I was talking to.
So it's an interesting dynamic. So my ex, George, I love the hell out of George, just like you love the hell out of Elsa. These are great people. As a matter of fact, all the exes I have met of Tim's, I really like. They're wonderful women. They're fantastic, creative, interesting women.
I have very good tastes.
He does. He has amazing taste in women. So, but we find that maybe the world, though, gets a little weird about exes and how we view our past relationships and how we want to continue to have relationships with these people just on a different level seems to make people uncomfortable. It's weird.
So what is that? Anyone want to chime in on that? I mean, is it that people are jealous, or that
Where I say hi to Kat.
They just want to have a new chapter, and they want to what's past is past. I don't want to deal with that. Sometimes, I read somewhere that, this whole business about how we only use 15% of our brain and all that kind of stuff. But another study was saying,
right here, it's
my hippocampus. I like to go to every campus, but especially my hippocampus.
Yeah, that's because you had replacement hips.
And whenever I have to get my hips checked up, I go to the hippocampus.
He goes to the hippocampus.
No, a vast portion of our brains, and probably it's only a segment of the brain, because now we're learning that each part of the brain has different functions, right? But whatever it is, the part that deals with memory and knowing a person takes up a huge amount of your mental capacity. Because when you get to know someone, you don't just, oh, that's great, Roy. Yeah, fabulous.
Hi.
How long ago was that?
Hi, Justine.
Hi, Justine. Message. Anyway, so you don't just learn their name and their address and their phone number. You learn their smell. You learn that when they raise their eyebrow, this means that. And all these things get packed away. So if you have 20 friends or 20 exes or, a lot of grandchildren or whatever, the more people you have in your life, the more of this capacity you're using. And I think at a certain point, certain people just go, okay, that's enough. Those people are in my path, so I don't talk to them anymore.
Well, and I think that some people wait to break up a relationship before there's anything that you can redeem.
Yeah, that's true too. That's a good point.
So I've known my parents, my biological mom and dad, they got to a place where there's so much resentment and anxiety had built up that it was really impossible for them to communicate for many, 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 many years. But they did eventually find some ways to communicate. But I think part of the problem is they held on until there was nothing to hold on to. That was actually what I was mostly worried about with my marriage to George, is that we would hold on to the point where resentment had built up and we could not be friends anymore. And that scared me more, in some ways, more than the divorce would. Because I knew I always wanted him in my life. Just we had become different people to each other within that space. But if we would have let it go, I think it would have been a problem. Yeah, it is. It's sad times. I think, but it's also kind of beautiful that we are able to still be connected, which is fantastic. So I've talked to Elsa.
Talked about, the Elsa.
She's an amazing woman. I like her very much. We're Facebook friends. And George.
Our hearts are going out to her right now because her mother just passed away.
She's having a really hard time right now. Really hard time right now.
Services were yesterday.
But I was so touched because George sent Christmas gifts and he sent a couple gifts to Tim. And it was really kind of beautiful. I mean, he doesn't have to do that.
No.
He doesn't, but he did it. And it makes me want to kind of cry that, we can all love each other continuously. It's a good thing, I think.
The story about me going down the pool and hiding this from Rebecca, and the story on Rebecca's side is that, and with George, is that I didn't really meet him. I met him the first time we met at our closing night party for our show, but I never said a word to him. He sat in the audience while we were dancing, so I was kind of awkward.
Wouldn't come out and dance.
Yeah, and then so I never really met him, and then Rebecca had her 50th birthday party, and there's a party out at my brother's house, and I felt it was right to invite him, but I didn't have any expectation that he would show up, and he showed up.
He did.
It was very brave of him.
He did. George is an amazing person.
And then he went out to a few bars with us, and I found out the guy was really nice, and I liked talking to him.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's and I think that, you meet certain people in your lives, and maybe your relationship with those people may change or evolve and all of that. But if you do have enough love, you have enough love to keep them in your life as well. And I think that's vital. I'm still friends with many of my exes. James, I tutored his kid. He was my first love. I tutored his son
a couple weeks ago,
which was great. It was such a wonderful kind of
cycle of life.
I know, it really was. And Tom
Because you
Stewart.
tutored him back in the day too, right?
No, my mom tutored him, so he was a writer.
That's why it's a cycle of life.
Yeah, and then I'm still friends with Tom Stewart. I was engaged to him for a short while, yeah, Mike Marland. We had a short relationship. I'm good friends with him. But these are all people that I wanted in my life more than just for a quick lover, just because, you know, they were amazing people. So I think it's important to keep the love, man. Important to keep the love.
I would agree. Although I probably wouldn't have agreed 10 years ago. I don't think I was that kind of person, but it's just happened that way. I mean, people have kept in touch with me, and, you know, with some people there's been hard feelings, and there's been big grudges or, you know, miscommunications where you just go, well, screw that person, you know, because they did this or that. And look at that arm. It's just, there's no more definition left.
Wait, no there is. Give that. Whoa. See, that's you're all right. You're right.
It depends on how the relationship ended and how you speak to your ex and your new partner. Yes, I totally agree.
I agree with that as well. Thank you, Jeffrey.
Yeah, it's not all roses for sure. If they don't trust your ex, then it's up to you to make your new partner feel comfortable and secure with your relationship with your exes.
Yeah.
Justine, I would agree with you 100%.
Me too.
Yeah, I mean, I've got some exes that I don't talk to at all and would rather not. But in general, if you met someone that you were attracted to and there were things that you found about them that you liked, then they're probably people that you want to keep in your life.
Keep in your life, yeah.
And if there is an issue with your current partner, then yeah, talking it through and trying to find a common ground is a good way to go about it.
Sometimes I think our approach to morality and in relation to relationships can be problematic, because we have brought up with this idea, and it does work for some people. Like for Roy, for example, he's been married for 45 years, and it's a wonderful marriage. And I know them together. They are amazing together. But I don't think that everybody has that success. And I think sometimes we put in these negatives. If you don't make it all the way, then there's something wrong with you, rather than looking at it as
a learning experience.
We were together and we had an amazing time together, but we evolved as human beings. And through that evolution, our relationship changes. And should we be ashamed then? And I don't think we should.
There's probably a lot of expectation on, two people who love each other, if they change, they need to change together,
right,
and evolve together.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful concept. I don't know if it's always possible. Sometimes somebody evolves and changes so much that the other person has to say, well, I can't. But, you know, there are relationships where someone will suddenly say, I really have always wanted to be a woman, you know, like a guy, and they'll change, and the wife will stay with them, you know, because the love is there.
Yeah, we know people like this, actually. So, you know, it's all highly individualized.
Right.
I think we probably should get going. We're at 18 minutes. This might be the longest live cast we've ever had. We should probably keep longer.
I learned to say yes, dear, LOL from Roy.
Right.
Yes,
thank you, Roy.
I agree.
The yes dears help on both sides.
Yes, dear.
Yes, dear.
Rebecca has a cold.
I do. Sorry about the sniffling.
She's going to survive. So that's it. This is our first simulcast. We will also be trying to put these on Roku and All Hawaii TV with Eric Nemoto's channel.
We'll see if that works.
Thanks for joining us for breakfast.
Thank you very much. And we hope that you have a wonderful day.
Aloha.